Good evening. My name is Jason Jacobs, and I'd like to talk to you about Molly Pitcher. Molly Pitcher is actually a cry that would have been heard regularly on battlefields throughout the American Revolution. Whether a soldier was calling for water to quench some thirst or to quench the heat of an artillery piece that was being utilized, there was someone standing in the background that would arrive with a pitcher of water to fill whichever need had been expressed with those two simple words. The name at the beginning of the cry may have been different depending on where you were, what battle it was, but the name of Molly has become synonymous with this service throughout the Revolutionary War. As a person, the name of Molly Pitcher has been referenced to many people, and it's confusing to see which person is actually Molly Pitcher. And when you look, as we go through, you'll see a little bit of this confusion. Mary Ludwig Hayes is often cited as the original Molly Pitcher. Elizabeth Cometti in 1947 described Mary Hayes through the nickname of Molly Pitcher as the legend that, quote, represented the intrepid qualities of women in the Revolution, end quote. A private in the Continental Army was witness to a woman that was attending to a cannon after taking her fallen husband's place, and this woman was patently unconcerned with the British cannon shot that appeared to have passed between her legs as she attempted to reload the cannon. These actions have been attributed directly to Mary Ludwig Hayes by multiple scholars, including Elizabeth Cometti, Linda Grant DePauw, and Emily Type. What's interesting is that while Mary Hayes has become synonymous with the Molly Pitcher moniker, in so much that the memorial bearing this name is at the site of Hayes' grave in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and is referenced directly at the Battle of Monmouth in New Jersey. The memorial for Molly Pitcher is actually depicted here. That's standing in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, where Mary Hayes passed away. What's interesting in this regard is that Mary Hayes is actually not the first woman to have stepped into this role and taken the place of a fallen husband during the heat of battle. Margaret Corbin, who was the first woman granted a pension by the Continental Congress, holds the honor as the first known woman to stand in this manner. During the Battle of Fort Washington in 1776, she took the place of her husband after he was killed by the British. What may be a driving factor in the confusion between who was actually Molly Pitcher first is that both Mary and Margaret went by the name of Molly, and were both serving with their husbands under Captain Proctor in the 1st Company of the Pennsylvania Artillery. So, when Cometti describes who Molly Pitcher is, she simply states, quote, all of them, referring to the women who were serving in these and similar positions, and none of them, end quote. It's interesting because Molly Pitcher has become an amalgamation of all the women that were standing in during the American Revolution. What brings this legend to the forefront of so many history books is the arena in which Molly Pitcher has been defined. War and conflict typically has been and is the arena of men, and these women stepped out beyond the societal norms for their gender and performed honorably. Not just honorably for a woman, but honorably for an American and someone who was fighting for the patriot cause. This has allowed the legend of Molly Pitcher to retain relevance and symbolism throughout American history as an example of fighting for what we see as right and performing our duties. While Mary Ludwig Hayes and Margaret Corbin were circumstantially linked in actions, there's certainly no doubt as to the bravery that they displayed in their actions. This bravery and corresponding action is the reason that Molly Pitcher has been held up in American history as a symbol of patriotic zeal, heroism, and freedom. Molly Pitcher, and the revolutionary women who she represents, is a good opportunity for any historian to focus on the maintaining of honesty and objectivity when evaluating and utilizing the various sources available.